This is our part 2 of 2 Pineapple Rye Pale Ale, or Island of Lost Souls Pineapple Rye Pale Ale. We're using Amoretti pineapple, natural flavors. It's basically pineapple extract with sugar. You're buying pineapple, you got pectin, it's a type of sugar. This is basically YouTube saying, hey, you got to do a call to action. So I'm asking, hit like, leave a comment, let me know what you think, good, bad, something you want me to try, something different. Please, if you're watching the videos, hit subscribe so when we do part 1s, you get an alert for part 2. I always do grain to glass. One of the most annoying things for me when I'm watching YouTube and I'm watching somebody brew a beer that I think is cool or I like, and at the end, I never see it again. I'm like, how did it turn out? Was it good? Was it dark? Was it light? How did it turn out? It's like watching an entire movie and then like 15, 20 minutes before the end, they just cut it off. For the love of God, don't do that. That drives me nuts. We will guarantee you, when we brew a beer, we're always going to do grain to glass. We're going to make sure that when you see it brewed in the Anvil or whatever we're brewing in and chilling it with the Jaded and putting it in the keg and maybe adding a flavoring or not adding a flavoring or dry hopping, we're always going to give you grain to glass. I'm going to let you know what it took to brew it and what it tastes like when it was done. Just please subscribe, hit like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Feedback is awesome, good, bad, and different. I appreciate it all. If you want to see something, you'll be shocked. If you come up with something great, something good that I've never thought of, or something that maybe I thought of but didn't think of it the way you did, I'll probably end up doing it eventually. We're looking to do a ton of cool things with Jaded. I've ordered a second one. Yes. I'm going to do some experimenting with cooling wort. Love my Anvil. It's not as fancy as the Grainfather. The Grainfather did me well for a while. Warranty was well. They took care of me under warranty, but the reliability wasn't there, so I went to Anvil. The low density burners, the ability to go between 110 and 220 and back and forth. For the love of God, why doesn't everybody do that? The silicone, as you can see, I solved that problem. I just took it out. I'm not doing a souring or fermentation in my Anvil, so I don't need the piece of silicone that was driving me nuts. Still wish this had a little bit of a lip so it didn't fall out as easy. But, you know, version 1.1 we'll say, and I'm amazed it does a great job. It does its job, it's reliable, and it works. And at 220, it's even more amazing. Let's get to flavoring the Pineapple Rye Pale Ale, or Island of Lost Souls Pineapple Rye Pale Ale. Thank you again. It's time to dry hop the Island of Lost Souls Pineapple Pale Ale. We have 2.5 ounces of hops, 1 1/4, supposed to be 1 ounce of each. Add a little extra, just throw it in there. 1 1/4 ounces of Denali. Denali is pineapple, citrus, and pine. Kohatu, which is a New Zealand hop, is very known for its tropical aromas and a little bit of woodsy and piney flavors. Literally, we drop it all in there. As I've shown you before, I tie this with 2 strings just to make sure if it breaks, I'm good. Now, the Omega yeast chomped on this. It was Omega 200 Tropical IPA yeast. It chomped on the sugars. In the first 24 hours, it was almost done. 48 hours, it was pretty much done. I let it sit for full 2 weeks. Just let it sit. Get a little bit of finishing on it. It only happens when you put it on camera, when you're trying to seal it, it doesn't want to seal. And then, of course, I have the pump over here, which I am so tired of how loud the pump is. I love it to death, but it is loud. So what I'm going to do is drop something back there. Sounded like a screwdriver. Not a big deal. Let's purge the CO2 out of here. There we go. We're just going to transfer the tropical or pineapple. Doesn't have any pineapple in it yet. Pale ale over here to the keg so it can dry hop for about a week. Once it's done, we'll put it in the kegerator. As you've seen this before in other videos, we're simply going to transfer the Island of Lost Souls Pineapple Pale Ale over here to the keg so it can dry hop for a week. Once it gets cold, as I mentioned, that's when we'll add the pineapple. We can add it 1 ounce, 2 ounces. We have up to 8 ounces until we get the flavor we're looking for. We don't want a pineapple bomb. We just want a really nice pineapple flavor, and hoping that we'll get a little bit of extra citrus, maybe a little bit, but definitely the pineapple and tropical fruit aromas from the hops that we're adding to it. The hops are probably overkill, but other piece, connect this to this keg, which is my son's. We turn on the pump, and all we're doing is transferring water from the pot to the keg. We take it out, we take this off. We also did a original gravity of a 1.046, and our final gravity was estimated at 1.005. We actually hit 1.004, which brings us from 5.4 to 5.5% ABV, which is fine. I didn't want it to be too strong, and I'm happy that's where it stopped, so we're good. Okay, turn the pump back on. Let's let a little air out of here. Turn it on. See it, and there it goes. A little harder to disconnect from that little guy. Connect this up here. And here's our CO2 relief valve. Turn the pump back on. And there we go. We're transferring the pale ale over to the keg. See if I can do this without making a giant mess. Put the pump down here to reduce the noise level. And of course, everything was vibrating off my shelf because of the pump. We'll pop this off. Set it down. You can see the amount of trub in here. I mean, it's quite a bit. It didn't even look like it was going to explode. It just munched and munched and munched on all those sugars. And like I said, literally within the first 24 hours, it was pretty much done. It had a little more to go, but it was done at 48 hours, 100%. That's it. We'll let it dry hop. Once it's done, we'll transfer it one more time, throw it in the keezer. Once it's down to 36 degrees, we can start testing the pineapple. Thank you again. Island of Lost Souls Pineapple Rye Pale Ale. It's time to add the pineapple and move the pale ale. I've got the, whoops, I guess I should hit tear. Our Amoretti's pineapple. Remember, we haven't added any flavor to it yet, so that's what this is. And I've already kind of shaken it up a little bit, but I'm going to set it down. We're going to do subtraction. We got 9.24 ounces. I'm literally just going to add 2 ounces to this. This smells intense, like intense pineapple. So we'll go this. Normally I would add this to hot water, kind of mix it up a little bit. But as we add the beer, I'm pretty sure it's going to get mixed around just fine. Okay, we're at 7.09, so we added a hair more than 2 ounces. We went from 9.24 to 7.09. Let's put our lid on. Sorry, I try to make sure that's as straight as possible. I've had an air leak before right at that point. I'll take it down here. Speaking of air, and let's purge some oxygen. Should be good. We'll leave that open. We know what's happening next. Turn it around. Move it apart a little bit. The beer's already flowing because there's quite a bit of pressure on this side. So we're going to do a, can't even think of the term, but basically we're going to release the pressure very slowly. I'm kind of afraid to put too much pressure on here. I don't have my normal CO2 regulators, which would allow me to control how much pressure is being released. My son has them, so we're doing poor man's slow release. Literally have my finger on it. I can feel the air coming out, but it's not full blast. It's going to take a little while. We're going to transfer this. Once we transfer it, we're going to take it, move it back into the keg. Well, I'm going to shake it up a little. Then we'll move it back into the kegerator or keezer, and then we'll do a taste test. Amoretti taste test, take one. We're taste testing Amoretti pineapple. It's 8 ounces by weight, 5.65 by fluid, but we're doing it by 8 ounces. And we're doing it by the weight. We already added a little bit more than 2 ounces. Let's see how that comes out. I got a little bit of leak in there. This is my inner tap that had a defect and they replaced it, but still try to use it occasionally. Just the flow control's got some issues. Okay, 2 ounces by weight. I've got a ton of pineapple right on the nose. We used Omega 200, which is supposed to give off a lot of pineapple. Didn't really notice any. Wasn't sure what it was. Kind of smelled tropical, but not defined pineapple. Sorry, Omega. Good yeast. Amazing yeast. Within 48 hours, everything was pretty much done. Almost in 24 hours. But I don't smell that much pineapple. This smells like you're shoving your nose in pineapple. And then when I add 2 ounces here, I get a nice pleasant pineapple. It's literally like pineapple is sitting over here on a plate and I'm just smelling the aroma. And very sessionable, which is what we were going for. What we're going to do, take the pressure off. All that CO2. Okay. And we're going to add another 2 ounces. Now, I think it's perfect the way it is, but I want to push the envelope just a little bit. I almost want to add 1 ounce, but I think I'm just going to go straight for the 2 ounce or just a hair below since we already added a hair above. Before it was like 7.09, now it's 7.20. Might be time for a new scale. Okay. Maybe I did it without the lid last time. Okay, we did it again. We used a hair more than 2 ounces. We're at 5.04, so we used 2.16 ounces. We'll be back. I'm gonna get this laid down, roll it, get it kind of mixed in. Amoretti pineapple, take 2. Okay, as you saw, we already added another 2 ounces. Should have rinsed the glass completely, but I think it's fine. It's only going to get more intense. Thought it'd be a little more bubbly with how much I shook the keg. I shook it, rolled it, flipped it again, shook it, rolled it, flipped it. The pineapple is blended. It's a little more intense. It's not as strong as I thought it would be. I thought it would be twice as strong since we added twice as much. But it's very pleasant. Very, very pleasant, especially if you like pineapple. If you don't like pineapple, I can't help you. The only thing I have noticed is I don't really taste much of the rye, if hardly any of the rye coming through, which would have complemented that. But I'm okay with it. We can add more rye next time. I could sit and just smell this all day and think pineapple. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Definitely going to leave it there. It's dripping. That's extremely drinkable, extremely sessionable. Definitely not clear, but I'm not really worried. Flavor is king. Clarity is only second, if I want it to be. Keep tripping, which might be another reason this tap didn't live up to the rest of the other 8 taps. But so, if you get Amoretti and you get one of their flavorings, and so far we've only done the pineapple, we got the apricot we're working on, literally half the bottle. I've used about, well, I guess maybe a little more because you add the weight of the bottle itself, which I didn't take into account. But I've used almost half the bottle, a little more than half the bottle. For 5 gallons, 2 ounces, I had the nice flavor. But at 4, a little more intense smell, a little more flavor, perfect. If I dumped the whole thing in, I would probably feel like I'm drinking straight pineapple. That's not my goal. Cheers.